Module 2 will have us getting input from the user, processing strings, learning about formatting, and also working more with the debugger and handling exceptions. I've opened up the different topics in tabs at the top, and we will take a glance at each topic that you are to do this week and the assignment that will go along with it. Topic 1 is going to deal with basically getting input from the keyboard. We've already dealt a little bit with output. Please use these links here as additional resources. Write and write line is what you've already been introduced to. Read and read line are going to be the new commands, and those are what you use to read input from the keyboard. We are also going to be looking at the string class, and so please take a look at some of these additional resources. Tutorials Point, W3 Schools, all of these actually have good information, and some of them have some additional little trial and errors. Please please watch the video, and it will step you through basically your first programming exercise. And that will include how to read in data from the console. And you're going to use a command, something like this, console.readLine. We'll read in an entire line from the console. Your first exercise will use the string class. All of these commands on this list are string commands, and we will use them at different times. And so to start to get used to how to access them, and the video shows you how to do that. And then your assignment is to do a program that will input 3 things and output them according to the specifications. Topic 2 is going to deal more with numeric input and output rather than strings. So again, use these additional resources. I would click into a few of them and just kind of glance at them and then come back to them as you're doing your coding exercises. Numeric input comes in as a string, and then you have to convert everything. So the console.readLine is going to bring in the data, but it's a string. And in order to work with it as an integer, a double, or whatever data type you need, you're going to have to use these convert methods. So convert.toInt, and then you're going to convert this argument. Your read line is the argument for that method. Please take a look at several convert methods that you might use. Many of them you're not going to need. And then again, watch the video on getting input from the user. It talks about read versus read line, and specifically about numeric data. Formatting output is going to be also something that we're going to deal with. You have these special format specifiers for each of the different types of output you want to have. For example, a 0:C is going to output currency, and then D is for decimal, E is for scientific notation. A few of those are demonstrated in the video, so please watch the video. Fixed point, general, numeric or number, percent, round trip, hexadecimal. Some of those you might not use, like you might not ever use hexadecimal, but these are what we call format specifiers. And again, video will help you with that. Take a look at the example and then your assignment. Topic 3 is on exception handling. Exception handling is what we do to try to make our program user-friendly, and so that when an error occurs, it doesn't crash. So anytime we get an exception of runtime, we have an unexpected event. This can include bad user input. Another example is when you input a decimal when an integer is expected. Exceptions are not generated directly from the user. For example, calculation, there might be a value that results in an attempt to divide by 0. And so it could be by the user, but it also could be while your code is executing. And they cause an exceptions. You don't want exceptions to be to cause your program to crash, so we want to learn how to exit them properly. So you're going to learn how to exit an exception. Again, please watch the videos here. They are going to be critical, and try the sample code. maybe even before you try your assignment exercises. And then it talks about formatting exceptions, and that would be with the output. And then how do you handle them? We have something called a try-catch block in our code, and generally it's going to look something like this. Our code that we have executing, we're going to put inside a try-catch block. So basically what we're going to do when we do this is we're going to say, well, I'm going to try this, and if it doesn't work, I'm going to throw an error, and it gets caught here. And so, for example, this format exception is going to output a very nice, user-friendly message. Error reading number of players, and then it's going to output the exception that was thrown by the computer. Okay? Again, watch these videos. They're very thorough, and you're not going to be able to do the assignments without watching them. And then your assignment is going to have you write a program that will error trap data in this particular exercise. Topic 4 is on the errors and debuggers. There are 3 types of errors in programming: syntax error, runtime error, and a logic error. Syntax errors will not allow the program to even run. Those are the errors that you get when you see the squiggly lines of code, and it won't even let you try to execute. A runtime error is when the program is executing and something happens, for example, like a division by 0 error, and the program crashes. And that's why you use a try-catch block to exit the program nicely. A logic error is an error that cannot be found except by the fact that you've maybe worked out some examples ahead of time, or you know what the output should reasonably be. Logic errors are the hardest to fix because they're errors in your logic, and you might not actually know that it's happening because the compiler runs it and it doesn't crash during runtime, but the output is incorrect. So again, watch the videos on how to do some debugging, and you are going to be practicing finding different types of errors. And then your exercise, the debugging lab, is going to be showing different types of errors and fixing the code. You'll need to click on this particular document, and it will explain the lab. And again, in order to save yourself just a little bit of time, you can do a copy-paste from these documents, but I would take it into Notepad++ so that you don't get any hidden characters, clean it up, and then copy it into your program. And so that's basically topic 2, or excuse me, Module 2 for the week. And try to do probably one of those exercises each day in order to stay on task and or to plan on working ahead also.